Here's a recap of the Daredevil series, the Defenders, and Daredevil's time in the MCU before you watch Daredevil Born Again. The series introduces us to Matt Murdock, a New York vigilante known as the Man in Black. Matt was in an accident when he was a kid that blinded him but heightened his other senses to a superhuman level. Matt's also a lawyer and has a law firm called Nelson and Murdock, which he runs with his best friend Foggy Nelson. Matt and Foggy's first client is Karen Page, who is framed for murder by a company called Union Allied, a construction company that's involved in money laundering and gang activity that's run by the city's kingpin, Wilson Fisk. Fisk meets an art curator named Vanessa and falls madly in love with her. But dude's down historically bad because he takes a guy's head off with a car door just because he feels disrespected in front of Vanessa. After Matt and Foggy help Karen get out of her charges, she works for them and helps them get to the bottom of what Fisk is doing, along with reporter Ben Ulrich, who eventually gets too close to the situation and gets taken out by Fisk. Rip. We also meet Stick, Matt's old mentor, who's kind of nuts, but he wants Matt to help him fight the Hand, a secret organization of psycho ninjas which Nobu and Madame Gao, two high-ranking criminals of the criminal underworld, are a part of. Matt fights Nobu and defeats him, and then Matt fights Kingpin and defeats him in his brand new Daredevil suit, and Fisk gets arrested and taken to prison. Season 2 of Daredevil starts off with the Irish Mob and other gangs trying to take control of the city with Kingpin now locked up. But the Punisher shows up and starts to single-handedly take these gangs out. We learn that the Punisher is Frank Castle, and he has a particular beef with the Irish Mob because they killed his family, and because of that, he's vowed vengeance against all criminals. And him and Daredevil don't quite see eye to eye on their methods of heroism. As Frank puts it, when Daredevil puts villains down, they get back up, but when he does it, they stay down. But because of Castle's carnage, he eventually gets caught and arrested. Unrelated to all this, Matt starts dating Karen, but then his former girlfriend Elektra shows up and complicates things. She was also a former protege of Stick, and she also has a very Punisher-esque way of doing things. And remember the Hand from Season 1? Yeah, they're apparently back, and Elektra showed up because she wants Matt to help her stop them. In court, Matt, Karen, and Foggy try to defend Castle's case, but he ruins that when he confesses to everyone that he enjoyed killing all those people. Castle meets Kingpin and gains intel on the death of his family in prison. Kingpin then tries to take him out. Castle survives, then they form a weird truce and Castle breaks out of prison. Castle follows up on the lead Kingpin gave him and takes out the man responsible for his family's deaths. Meanwhile, Matt and Elektra fight against the Hand along with the help of Stick, and discover the Hand is kidnapping children and harvesting their blood to try to create an unknown weapon called Black Sky. Freaking weird. Also weird, remember Nobu from Season 1? Yeah, the Hand resurrected him. And he tells Elektra that she's the Black Sky and tries to get her to help the Hand. She says no. Matt and Elektra profess their love for each other. They fight the Hand with Castle's help, but then Elektra dies during the fighting. And Season 2 ends with Matt revealing his identity as Daredevil to Karen, and with the Hand using some weird ancient sarcophagus to resurrect Elektra, wipe her memory, and then use her as the Black Sky. And between Seasons 2 and 3 is the Defenders, where Matt teams up with Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist to fight the Hand and Elektra, who's now their Black Sky weapon. During this season, Stick ends up getting killed by Elektra, and the Hand's trying to achieve immortality by creating an elixir made out of dragon bones buried under a building in New York. But the Defenders stop this by blowing up the building while Matt and Elektra are underneath it, and right before this happens, Elektra gets her memory back, reunites with Matt, and the building collapses on them. But somehow Matt survives and is rescued by nuns, and this is where Season 3 begins, where he's nursed back to health at the orphanage where he grew up by Father Latham and Sister Maggie, who turns out to be Matt's mother who abandoned him at birth. Kingpin starts the season in prison, but then he orchestrates an attack on himself and manipulates the FBI to get moved out of prison and on house arrest. And there's a psychopath FBI agent named Bullseye who has ridiculous aim that also starts working for Fisk. Matt, Foggy, and Karen spend much of the season trying to collect evidence to put Fisk away for good, and they find a witness who could testify about Kingpin's manipulation of the FBI, but Fisk sends Bullseye dressed as Daredevil to take out the witness and frame Daredevil as being a villain. Matt gets one of the FBI agents, Ray Nadeem, to turn against Fisk, but then Fisk has Bullseye take him out, so Matt ends up getting Bullseye to turn against Fisk because he finds out that Kingpin took out this chick that Bullseye was super obsessed with. Wild. So Matt and Bullseye fight Fisk. Fisk breaks Bullseye's back, but then Matt beats Fisk and puts him back in jail. Bullseye gets operated on to set up his return down the road, and Nelson, Murdock, and Page live happily ever after. And finally, in the main MCU timeline, Matt briefly shows up as Peter Parker's lawyer in No Way Home. We then see him in She-Hulk getting a bit too friendly with Jennifer Walters, and we see him one last time in Echo when he briefly shows up to fight against Maya Lopez.